right? Showing the ingredients. Say, doctor, is it okay if I take CoQ10? What's he going to say probably?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it okay if I take vitamin B1?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay if I take copper? Yes. It's okay if I take resveratrol? Probably, right? So that's a perfect way to approach it. As opposed to, hey doctor, I just want to take this product. Hey, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Right? What is she going to say? No. Right? Okay. Other questions?
Question here.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Faye. I'm from Dallas.
Hi, Faye.
And a lot of times if you type something into your Facebook or Instagram, you'll see it all over the place. And one of those is the guy that invented Venmo. He was on reality TV shows, and it's NAD, anti-aging. And I looked up the product, because I know anti-aging is important to all of us.
Yeah.
But I found out that a lot of the products that we take, and I've been taking them for a while, they really make me feel good, and I tell my friends about it, they're in our products. So the question I have is, how would you compare our products with that? Because it seems like it's the same thing when I compare the ingredients on everything that I take in our complete set of products.
Great question. Sure. Dr. Bordone, can you have her talk into the mic?
So, hi, I'm Megan from Pennsylvania, and I'm a nurse and also a board-certified holistic practitioner. So I recently had this with one of my clients who signed on to a 6-month program from basically a Facebook ad from a very famous doctor that loves to treat COVID. So I used my nursing license to go online and submit my nursing license to become a practitioner, and then I submitted the questions. I then forwarded the email from my client to show that the company responded back to me. It was not any type of affiliate marketing. You had to be a practitioner, and the email said explicitly when I asked, do you have any absorption, cellular studies, clinical studies that you can send me on any of the products? They responded back, I cannot provide you with any of that information.
Wow.
Simple email, just a simple email.
Wow. Wonderful.
Dr. Dan, can I get clarification real quick? Are you asking about our products versus NAD? What did you want him to compare?
There's one that's very popular that they're selling all over Facebook and Instagram. And I looked at what the summary, what the products were. And I noticed that it's sunflower and it's things that are very comparable to all of the things, the different things that are in Vital, that are in Eternal, that are in all of our products combined. But they just have it in that one product. So
yeah, so there's going to be in supplement formulations, there's going to be in those formulations ingredients that are similar to ours. One thing that I would say though, when you look at our ingredients, even though it has the same name, green tea extract, curcumin, resveratrol, whatever, you have to understand a couple of things. In green tea extract, with our extraction technologies and our molecular discovery that we do, that is going to be, the molecular composition is going to be quite different, even completely different in some cases than others. So that's just like saying, well, you have a car. Well, yeah, there's a car. There's the Volkswagen Rabbit that I drove, when I was a junior. And then there's the Porsche Panamera, right? Those are totally different cars. So number one, it's the molecular composition that's different, even though the ingredient that we put on FDA labeling looks the same. And number two, absorption. Really, a lot of it all comes back to absorption. Because again, you can have the same formula, the same molecules with it, whatever, but if it's not absorbed, then it's not going to do the job. Okay? Did that answer your question? Wonderful. Thank you. Yes?
We have a question over here. Your name and where you're from?
My name is Andale. I'm from Southern California.
Hi.
I just want to say, Dr. Dan, bravo. Everything you do, big love. My question specifically is this. Revive. I love it. But it seems like I need to take at least 4. Is there any way that we could increase potency?
Great question. Yeah, great question. Okay. Now we're the science team together, all of us, right? All 400 of us, or whatever we are. How are we going to increase efficacy? Oh, good. So we can increase absorption. Yeah. I love that. How are we going to increase absorption? Curcuminoids are really hard to increase absorption. Why? Where's our curcuminoid? It's up here, right? Wow, that is terrible looking, but it'll suffice. Why is it not readily absorbed? Yeah, it's not polar. But it's all carbon. There's really nothing to hold on to. Maybe there's a hydroxyl group. Maybe. Tim, is there a hydroxyl group there, Dr. Schlick? Huh? Is it here? Okay. Something like that. Anyways, curcumin is just wily because it doesn't have a lot of polarity in it. It does a little bit, but it doesn't play nice with each other. It doesn't fold nicely on each other. So because of that, it's not readily absorbed. So one of the issues that we would need to do is we would need to increase absorption. Great. Here's a cool thing. Okay, so where's curcumin from? Turmeric, right? Okay, it's from turmeric. How many molecules are in turmeric? 600 or so. Okay, good. Now, is curcumin the only molecule that's anti-inflammatory? No, there's a lot. So there's a class. Actually, who's heard of curcuminoids? Curcuminoids with an S. What does that mean? There's other molecules that are like this. Okay, so what if we were able to discover a new curcuminoid? And there's different types of turmeric. There's yellow, there's red, there's purple, there's green, there's blue. Kerala, India, a while ago, I was studying blue turmeric. Only grows in India. That's what they say, and that's what I've seen. Now, does different colors, is that indicative of molecular diversity a lot of times? It is. Yeah, a little bit of color goes a long way, right? Light shines down on the molecules, they kind of pose, and it gives off another wavelength. That's what happens. So, what if we were to discover a new curcuminoid from blue turmeric that's more potent, that's 100 times more potent than curcumin?
Yeah.
Is that a good idea? Yeah, that'd be freaking cool. Guess what? That's one of the things we're doing at our Medicinal Plant Research Institute in Thailand. Right? For an example, so the idea is, what a great question, right? It all comes back to this, right? It's all about finding molecules. And, oh my goodness, I erased it. What percentage are we at? 0.0067%. So are there probably molecules that are better than curcumin? Yes. Have we found them yet? No. Will we found them? Will we find them? Yes. Yes. Right? I love that. That's the type of thing that we're doing. Are other companies doing that? No. Man, isn't science so cool? Oh, that just gets me excited. I just want to go study some curcumin. Let's go into the lab. My lab's only 45 minutes away. Should we go? Let's go. Okay. Other questions?
All right, question here.
On that side.
Yes. Hi.
Okay, thanks.
My name is Margarita, and I'm coming from Hartford, Connecticut.
Hi.
And I'm 30 years old, and since being in this space, I'm coming across a lot of people in my demographic and in my network that have cancer or have overcome cancer. And I have heard from multiple people that are on 3 products what it has done for them in their white blood counts. And I just want to know if 3 has any plans to speak more on what we can do for people who are either going through it or finishing it. Even my beautiful friend Linda has had the opportunity to tell us about her story. So there's so many people that are having these amazing testimonials, and I just want to know when we can, with our chest high, speak to what we do for people with cancer.
Okay. Tim, Dr. Snyder, our chair, would you be willing to take that question about, disease states, nutritional supplements? Let's give Dr. Snyder a round of applause. He leads our board with power. One of the wisest guys I know.
Well, I don't get the mic much, and that's intentional, but what is the, I'm going to get to your question because it's really, really important because everybody needs to hear it, but what's the theme of this convention? I hope you have enjoyed as much as I have listening to this man, who I can honestly say over the years I have grown to love him, respect him, and he always impressed me. And in order for you to believe, you have to have something called trust. And I hope that you understand that this man is the real deal. And that everything that he says out of love, and the fact that he has dedicated his life to this industry. And it's amazing that we are so fortunate to have him here at 3. So Dr. Dan, give me the mic and I'm going to brag on that. Getting back to the question of, we are a wellness company, and I think all of you need to know that. We believe that this body is mysteriously made and masterfully made. So we believe that if we give our bodies what it needs, we are going to stay out of trouble with disease states. And that's about all we can say. And it's good that we talk about this because there's something called the FDA. And we have to be very careful at a convention like this that we don't talk about disease states. Because a disease state is something that, from a medical standpoint, needs to be run and controlled by something called the FDA. All of our products are basically concentrated food. It's all things that are in nature. It gives you everything you need and nothing that you don't. So when we talk about disease states, we have to be very, very careful. So focus on keeping our bodies well, staying out of trouble with things like Purify. And then the other thing that we haven't talked about are the 5 things that control epigenetics, and I'm sure we'll get to that before the end of this weekend together. So good question. Everybody is thinking, and we do have, when you put these in play, all of our products, if you put them in play in this body, we're going to stay out of trouble. That's the thing that you need to know. So.
Thank you, Dr. Snyder. I sure appreciate you.
Dr. Dan?
Yes.
I have a question on this side. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Terry Biggio, and I'm from San Francisco. Thank you, Dr. Dan, for everything that you're doing, and this is quite amazing. I was going to be a chemistry major at one point. The question I have is there's so much about gut permeability and Crohn's disease and inflammatory situations. And so what can I say to people, including myself with Crohn's, about which products and what things we can do for that and to heal the gut itself from that whole thing so that we can have natural health again?
Beautiful question. Thank you, Terry. So there's a couple of things. We talked about there's 300,000 genes in the gut microbiome. And a lot of these genes are responsible to support the inflammatory process of the body and the organisms itself and the gut overall. A lot of these genes actually help with absorption and permeability. But you know what's cool? A lot of the molecules that we have in our formulas, not only do they help human genes, but they also help genes of the gut microbiome. And we haven't talked a lot about that. But resveratrol. There's studies coming out showing that resveratrol might be as important or more important for microbial genes as they are for human genes. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that cool? So my answer to you, these ingredients, these natural ingredients not only affect human genes, but gut microbiome genes. And the intestine and the absorption studies that we've run, they're ran using a Keiko-2 assay, this lipid bilayer. And that same assay not only applies to cellular absorption, it also applies to gut barrier health. To make sure that lipid bilayer, the integrity, is there. So some of our absorption studies do translate to gut health. But there's a lot more that we need to do. There's a lot more that we need to know. You know, gut health is just so mysterious, right? We talk about these different gut health diseases. We did use the D word, compliance, but not like that, you know. There are these different gut health issues that we still don't know exactly what's going on. And we're trying to figure it out. One of the areas that I'm thinking a lot about is gut microbiome health and gut permeability. So stay tuned. We're going to have some more things about that in the future. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Question over here, Dr. Dan in the back.
Hello.
Hey, Dr. Dan. I'm Melissa. My training is as an orthopedic surgeon, and so my understanding about epigenetics is still fairly young. I'm still really learning about it, but even as an orthopedic surgeon, before I knew anything about epigenetics, I would tell people your genetic code has secrets that it unfolds as you get older, and none of those are good. So I could intuitively see that people's bodies break down, and as I learned about epigenetics, then that intuitive observation became more scientific in nature, which was kind of cool. So kind of to your question, why do we have any diseases, any breakdown of the body? And it's those epigenetics, the cleaving off of the DNA strands, the changing of sequencing, the mutations, the free radicals that are causing this. So anything that can optimize your epigenetics is going to optimize your health. And so this is something that I like about the 3 products, because I believe that they address that. So more of a comment than a question.
That's a great comment, and that's exactly right. Epigenetics. We're the first company in the supplement space that I've seen that has published a clinical trial showing that they're finished products that you can take regulate epigenetics. Now, let's be sure we're clear what we're talking about, epigenetics. What's the difference between genetics and epigenetics? What's genetics? The study of the genes of the body, the DNA, the genome, right? Epigenetics is different. Epigenetics, here we go. Epigenetics, we'll try this again. So we have DNA, we have our gene, we have if the gene is turned on or off, this is our gene. Epigenetics is the study of the turning on or off of the gene. Okay? It's the study of how this happens, and there's so many different things with epigenetics. There's histones, there's methylation, but we need to understand the sheer complexity of the DNA in the body. I don't think we understand that. How many cells are in the body?
40 trillion.
Exactly, about 40 trillion is what we're thinking. Now, if I was to take one of those cells, just one of the 40 trillion, pop it out, and I was to look at the DNA, and I was to pull the DNA out of that cell. Now keep in mind, if I have the tip of a needle, a sewing needle, that very tip, how many cells could fit on there? Thousands of cells could fit on the tip of that needle. Is that mind-boggling? Now if I was able to take the DNA out of one of those and stretch it, how long would it be? 6 feet long. My wingspan. Although I'm 5'11" and 3/4, isn't that sad? I want to get that extra 1/4 of an inch. But anyway, 6 feet long. What's 40 trillion times 6 feet? Anyways, the point is, if you took all the DNA in your 40 trillion cells, all 6 feet, and you tied a knot to them, not to make a continuous line, strand, it would go from here to the moon and back 3 or 4 times. That's the amount of genetic information we have in the body. Now, how in the world do we get this 6 feet of DNA compressed into a cell? That's one of the beauties, wonders of the human body. Isn't that crazy? So the way it does is it compacts and compacts and compacts. You know, if you take a rubber band and you start twisting one end of the rubber band, what happens? I hold this stationary and I have a long rubber band and I start twisting it here. What happens? You make coils, right? Now when it's all the way coiled, if I keep twisting it, what happens? It forms coils upon coils and coils and coils. That's what the DNA does. So we talk about this gene and we draw this cute little diagram, gene on whatever. But we need to understand that it's compacted and compacted and compacted. So how do we open that up? That's the wonder of the body. We have to do a lot of RNA polymerase too. We have to do a lot of heavy lifting to unwind the rubber band, unwind, until we can see that gene so it can be expressed. Or sometimes genes are open all the time. Hello, see me, right? No, they need to be closed. So it's this dichotomy, open and closed. That's epigenetics. Epigenetics is fascinating. We've talked about this in our board. You know, Dr. Steiner and I talk a lot about epigenetics. You know, it's crazy that abuse and trauma and different things like that can actually silence genes. If a gene is silenced, what that means is it doesn't open up. It never opens up. And so that function is lost. So trauma, different things like that, can cause genes to close. Sometimes forever. And you know what's even crazier? If I have a silenced gene and I have a child, could that child also have that gene be silenced? Yes. We can actually pass on. Now, is my DNA mutated? No. Genetically flawed? No. It's just not properly expressed via epigenetics, and we can pass that on. Isn't that crazy? Can it be reprogrammed? Maybe. And that's some of the, and how, if it can be reprogrammed or expressed properly, what's going to do it? What's the method by which we could do that? Molecules. Molecules are responsible for the opening and closing of DNA. Did you know that? So can we find if we have silenced genes, oh, this is cool. If we have silenced genes, can we find molecules that can unsilence those genes? Ooh, man, if you're able to do that reproducibly, Nobel Prize, here you come, right? Wow, this has been really fun, you guys. You guys are full of really cool ideas. Okay.
So we have somebody who's been waiting to ask a question.
Thank you for waiting.
What's your question and where are you from?
I'm Karen from Key West.
Hi, Karen.
My question is, well, I'm not a healthcare professional. I want to help as many people as possible. But when I'm recommending products to people, are there any that I should avoid recommending if they have pre-existing health conditions or allergies?
I think Dr. Steve Szabo, a medical doctor, should take that question.
Well, curcumin is an anti-inflammatory, so to start off with that one. That's one that if somebody is on a blood thinner, somebody mentioned Eliquis or Coumadin, it's something definitely I would talk to their doctor about. Are there any others that come to mind? That's the main one.
Yeah, so you know, kind of.
Oh, food allergies. She's saying that people have food allergies, they may not want to take certain of these products. I assume you mean like if they have mushrooms in it and they're allergic to mushrooms.
Yeah.
So certainly if they have certain medical problems, like I think Dr. Green was mentioning, kidney disease or such, you know, these doctors should see everything then person's like.
Yeah, so if I have disease state X, what product should I take that can help with that condition? If someone asks you that question, and you're not their personal medical doctor, what should you say? I don't know. Ask your doctor. And they're like, oh, come on, that's a cop-out. Well, no, it's not a cop-out. Your medical doctor is they're called a primary care provider for a reason. So anybody with a pre-existing medical condition should consult with their personal medical doctor before taking nutritional supplements. It's that easy. So that's what we say, right? If people ask us those types of questions, we refer them to their medical doctor. You know, and a lot of times though, we feel like we need to find people that have these problems, right? You know, we want to go to like, oh, I want to go where all the people have problems are. Let's go find them. Let's go help them, right? Well, who needs help? Everybody, right? Sometimes you make it too complex. Yeah, I'm in the health business, and so I'm gonna go make people healthy, you know. And I march up to a doctor's office, right? And in the process of doing that, I pass 200 people that all need help. They all need proactive wellness. So let's keep it simple. Let's just share it with people, okay? We're out of time.
Dr. Dan.
Yes. Oh.
This lady's been standing for like 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Can she hear last one?
Please.
Okay.
Please give us your question.
Hi, Lindsay from Alberta, Canada.
Hi, Lindsay.
Quick question. What's some of the differences with our product biologically or like in the body compared with organic oils, young living stuff, let's say? I mean, still work, but it came up with some people in our world. Yeah.
Okay, great. So if something is an organic oil, an oil has different properties than a powder, right? Oils are agglomerated together. There's different carriers and whatnot. Does oil and water mix? Is something in an oil, does it usually mix in water? Is that a problem for the human body?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. And when it comes to these oils, do they have absorption technologies usually built into them? No. So I would say in a nutshell, those are some of the key differences. It comes back to absorption. So remember, keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it simple. Just take the products. Love the products. Share what you know with other people. You don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be a genius like our board members. You just need to, this just popped up on the conference line. You just need to believe. You just need to believe. Trust us. Do you trust me? Do you? Do you trust the SMB members? Do you? Okay, then let's just get out there and share. We don't need to know everything. Let's just share what we know. And life is good. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody very much. Take care.